as you can, all right?
All right, what's up, everybody? It's the Arty 84 show live here in Revere, Massachusetts. Again, we have, of course, Adam the Mallet quite comfortably on the couch here.
This is amazing.
With, you see Nola in the shot on his lap, and then little Tommy sitting there trying to get the microphone.
Yes.
This is episode 60. Did you hear a dong?
I did.
The hell was
and
that?
it wasn't mine. Oh.
Was that Alexa?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, she's lit up right now.
Is she?
Yeah.
Are we getting a message?
Super duper. I've been juggling some new soccer jokes. Got a few winners, I think.
What?
She shoots, she scores.
What the hell
What
is
the hell
going
was
on with
that?
Alexa?
Literally, I don't know if you guys probably didn't pick it up because the microphone's not over there. All of a sudden, Alexa made this weird, like, boop, and then she goes, I'm coming up with some soccer jokes. She shoots, she scores.
Well, the World Cup is going on, but that's weird.
Yeah,
Nothing
but why is
triggered
she
that.
talking without us asking her?
Yeah, that happens occasionally.
That's the FBI. Alexa, do you work for the FBI?
No, I work for Amazon.
See, she always says no. She works for Amazon.
Lies.
I'm telling you, man. So this is the new setup in the studio. Hope you guys like it here. We got the what was going to be my chair, but you know what? I think I actually prefer this chair better. Because it's a little bit nicer over here. And you can get comfortable. Are you very comfortable?
I am extremely comfortable. I'm thinking maybe being Stephen Hawking wouldn't have been that bad if I had a really comfy chair.
Stuck in a comfy chair. He wasn't stuck in a comfy chair though. I bet but he did like getting like the did like oral treats, Mr. Hopkins, even though he couldn't feel them.
Hawking.
That's gonna be terrible, right? I'm like,
Yeah, I mean your muscles are gonna build like atrophy and
Yeah.
get all weird and stuff.
do you think he has like had wet dreams and stuff like that? Perhaps.
No,
I mean,
no way. I don't know how that functions. I think he was married.
He was married, but then he was like having an affair.
He was.
How does a crippled guy have an affair?
I'm like that guy.
Don't you need someone to wear him out? Are you doing an impression of Stephen Hawking? Right now?
No, that guy who has that podcast who just sits on a.
Oh, that asshole, that fat fuck. What the hell was the name of that podcast? Anyways, it was like the Dink and Jung show.
I don't know. You let up on him though, and then
Yeah, and then he said he liked that show.
and then you hated him again. And I don't
hated
remember
him.
why.
I hated him for being nice. I don't like when people are being nice. It's been a crazy week, if you will. Well, we can go. Let's start. It's been 2 weeks since the show.
That's right.
I was in Florida with Sue
You were.
last weekend, and we were shopping around for a prospective getaway, and an indefinite sense of the phrase, if you will. We originally went on this trip because we were planning on buying a restaurant down there, and we booked this flight like a month ago.
Must be nice to have that kind of money.
Well, we're gonna put a business loan together, you know.
Oh.
We're gonna buy a business and then be small business owners. That was the goal. But apparently the one we were looking at got sold, and then we ended up turning this into a recon trip for our future. So we'll see what happens.
There you go.
But and then we got our couch that you could see. Well, you can see the chair. The couch looks very much like it. It's to the left.
It's great.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. I fell asleep in it multiple times already. We just had it for a week.
Yeah.
And then we went out on Saturday.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
There actually was. There was no incidents.
No incidents.
Everyone had a great time. We were laughing and joking.
It was the Mallet and I and Sue and our friend Matt from across the street and his girlfriend. And we went to go see Eric the Powers. And we all had a good time. We had a few drinks. The only time we got a little sketchy, a little weird was when we were at the last club. And we realized how young we aren't anymore.
Oh, it was horrible. It was, first of all, it was like a sauna.
Yes.
Well, we only went to one club.
I wouldn't even call that a club.
It wasn't even a club.
It was a bow for dance floor, I guess
How
you
did
could say.
we exactly get in there? Because we skipped the line.
We did not skip the line. We tried to skip the line because Matt's girlfriend thought it was the entrance upstairs that no one was using.
Nobody paid anything.
Yeah, Sue paid for everyone.
Oh, that explains it then. Because I was like, I did not know that.
Yeah, then we had to go back to the back of the line, but it was moving pretty fast, so it really didn't matter. And I swear to God, that place was over occupancy anyways. If there was ever a fire, there was no way out.
Yeah.
There's no way you can get out of that place. You have to smash a window and jump out.
I think I made a joke like, just fall in the hottest girl you can find if you're gonna die.
Is that what you're gonna do? Last moment of breath is commit a forced act on a female? Is that what you're gonna do?
It smelled like a pool.
It was disgusting.
It was nasty, man. It was horrible.
It smelled like a sweaty locker room. It was 1,000 people in there. You couldn't even move. It just smelled. It was hot. The floors, you know, I was being an engineer. I did look up there, and they were structurally stable. They back in the day, they built those buildings like brick shit houses. It was 4x12s. Standard these days is a 2x8 or a 2x10. So this was almost double the strength, and it was like 12 inches on center instead of 16. So I mean, these floors were held to hold safes and pianos and large like books and like stuff like that. So I didn't worry about it falling and collapsing in.
No.
I did worry about the fire factor though, because there was only one way out, one way in.
Yeah, you're screwed.
And then he couldn't move, he couldn't dance, and there was that like Brazilian couple having relations on the dance floor.
Oh, I didn't see them.
They were like dancing aggressively and making out, but they were like, you know, get out of your. They were leaving their bubble and going into mine, and that's what I'm very offended by.
Yeah.
You know, they were moving their bodies around all flamboyantly and stuff like this, and you know, So who got injured? You got injured, right?
Well, I would say injured, but like my knee. The next day I woke up and my knee was just not feeling good. It was like I put ice on it.
My back was killing me.
It was
and
not good.
Sue decided at some point through the night that she was going to do a cartwheel. I do remember that it was less. We were leaving Eric's place, and in Christopher Columbus Park. I think I better. She said, that reminds me of doing cartwheels. I go, I bet you can't do a cartwheel. And she's like, yes, I can. I go, there's no way in hell you can do a cartwheel. And it was the biggest half-ass cartwheel I ever seen in my life. I thought she was. I actually, while she was about to do it, I had a moment of fear that I was going to be marrying a quadriplegic because I didn't think she was actually going to make it up and over, and she was going to land on her neck. I got very nervous for a second there. No one should be doing cartwheels who haven't done cartwheels in 15 years. I'm going to put it that way right there.
Oh, we also remember the longest Uber drive around a block. Remember before he kicked us out?
Oh, yes. Remember? Yes. So we go. So after we leave I keep calling it Trinity because that's what it was called back in the day when we were 21. It's now called the Wild Rover. After we left that, we were all pretty drunk. I wasn't hammered. I wasn't either. I had a steady buzz going on.
Me too. I felt really good.
Maybe that's why I felt like shit the next day. Because I was just drinking beer and keeping that buzz.
Yeah.
If I just hardcored it with some vodka and some Red Bull, I would have been hammered. But then the next morning, I would have bumped right up. Because I never really have a hangover of vodka. It's always beer I have a hangover with. Beer and wine. Worst hangovers ever. Yeah. Vodka, never a hangover. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Less sugar, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
But, and maybe it's the volume. Because I obviously drink more beer than I would a vodka drink. So I think perhaps the volume of the beverage is maybe causing me to feel like shit the next morning, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, one time me and her went out, I was throwing up outside the Uber. But, so back in the Uber, there's 5 of us. And we're taking an Uber back here to the Package Studios in Revere, Massachusetts, where we're currently at right now. And it's, it's only about 9 miles away from downtown. 9?
Yeah, it's not far at all.
Not even.
9
miles. And, that was the last one I was saying. Oh. And, but whoever got the Uber didn't push 5 because it's a special upgrade when you get because you can fit 3, maybe 4 in an Uber, but 5 it's difficult because most cars only hold 5 people, and plus the driver it's one too many. So you need like a minivan or an SUV or something like that. So the asshole did see us. I mean, he did watch us pile in like a bunch of like clowns in a small car.
Yeah.
And so one of the girls was sitting on her Matt's lap, his girlfriend, and we didn't think much of it. And then we literally left. If you know anything about Boston, it's all one-way streets everywhere you go when you get downtown for the most part. So we got picked up near the Custom House, which is that big giant clock you see in Faneuil Hall, and we went through the entire financial district. Now you got to envision this: Boston's kind of shaped like an arc, like an arch. So picture the two 90-degree angles of an arch and then figure the curve on the other end. So we went down 190, took a left onto another 90, and then started riding the arch, and we ended up back to the point that we were at. And it takes a little bit of time because you have traffic lights and traffic and everything like that. So it probably took about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he realized right before he got onto the expressway, which would have been no turning back. Once he was on the highway, it was like, you can't, what are you going to do, pull over on the side of the highway and kick us out?
Yeah.
And you could pull off at an exit, I guess, but still, at that point, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I don't know.
He would have dropped us off in the middle of downtown Chelsea if that was the case.
When did it click with him? Was Rudolph's girl like bouncing, she was dancing in the back, right?
Yeah, she was dancing to some island music of some sort and getting very excited. And the guy's like, "Oh, there's 5 of yous?" And I go, "Yeah." He's like, I'm pulling over right now. I cannot take the risk. I go, take the risk. I go, what the hell does that mean?
I paused and looked at him like, what? Because I was in the front seat. I was like, what? And he's like, you have to get out.
Yeah, so then we eventually got another
ride around the block.
I tried to steal a cone, but Susie wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
I don't know I would have been sitting in the living room right now.
Probably.
I steal things when I get drunk. I just find stuff. Like there was like these big metal rods that they had outside for like the plows so they know where the sidewalk was.
Yeah.
I stole one.
And where is it now?
In the closet.
And it's never going to be...
When we move eventually, there'll be a lot of shit that accumulates from that I steal when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
You know.
Have an auction.
I once stole those orange barrels that they have for construction.
Yeah.
I once stole one of those.
Oh, wow.
I had I don't know how we got into my buddy's SUV. We must have been driving with the friggin' hatch open. We pull over to the side of the road. I threw one in the back.
Shit.
Sue's ETSU sign when we were down in Johnson City, she wanted it, so I pulled over and I stole it.
I stole a stop sign in broad daylight.
That's against the law.
It is.
You shouldn't see now. That's an extreme thing right there. I steal construction safety apparatuses, which there are plenty of. You stole a stop sign, which could kill someone.
Yeah, I eliminated it right away. And I was a stupid teenager, and I was on my bicycle. It wasn't really a busy street, and it was broad daylight, and I didn't even realize the weight of the situation. And I just leaned my bike up against the post. I got up with a wrench because I thought it looked cool in my room.
They do look cool.
It did look cool. It did look cool, and then I took it. No, it was broad daylight. Nobody saw me. And then my brother saw it. He's like, where'd you get that? And I was like, I took it like nonchalantly, like I didn't think it was a big deal.
I took it from the end of the street.
Yeah, I took it from the street over there where it merges. And he's like, you just eliminated it right away. You know that, right? I'm like, what's that? Right?
Look, I'm being all technical. You know, no one can hear you, Sue.
I know I'm not on the air, but I'm cooking dinner.
I know. Yeah, but no, your voice doesn't get picked up. So we just...
What you cooking, Suze?
Tacos.
Oh, taco.
Cooking tacos.
Taco. Tacos. Always love tacos. Are awesome. It's a great choice.
You brother, you eliminated it right away.
What's that?
His brother now plays for the the Baltimore Ravens quarterback.
Oh, he's still in Baltimore? I'm surprised.
I think so. As far as I know, I think he's still the backup over there.
Backup or like third string now?
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's an enter in Revere sign. You know those Massachusetts giant entering the city signs?
Yes.
The white ones with the symbol of Massachusetts on. They're like huge. They're like 3 foot by 2 foot. I want to steal one of those that says enter in Revere. But those ones are a bitch because they're actually made of plywood. And they put they painted on like there's a veneer on the plywood. Because you ever see a truck hit one, you could see the splinter of the wood into it. I would settle for an enter in Revere, just the standard metal ones you get on the highway. There's one on Route 1 near this place right here that you could sneak up into the bushes. And what I would do in the middle of the night, I would just ratchet off the pole and just drop it. So while it's down, just hurry up and ratchet it off. Because once it falls, if there's no cars around, no one's going to even know the sign's not even there. That gives you a little more time to kind of ratchet it off and, take the sign off.
Yeah.
Those things they're heavy.
Yeah. My mother eventually, I had a collection. What's stop line? What the hell does that mean?
Stop line. That's like the stop line where you're supposed to stop for a stop sign.
Oh, I had one of those too.
Nice.
I apparently like things that say stop on it. I don't know why, but
he doesn't listen when girls tell him that. Otherwise,
But my mother eventually took a box. 'Cause I guess my brother used to do the same thing when he was younger.
Steal signs.
Yeah, I also had a street sign.
Yeah,
and
Alex Wallace is listening. He says he stole a sign that said Wallace Road.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's no Namadia Street Road or anything like that. Although behind my work right now, there is a street called Arthur Street.
Wow.
Which I wouldn't mind taking that sign.
You want something really messed up? I got to get a picture of this because in Dorchester, there is a cross section, the corner of Adams and Mallet. Yep.
Really?
You can even look it up. I'm dead serious. Look it up online. Look it up the maps on your Google Maps.
Adams of Venesto, right?
Yeah, the corner of Adams. Yeah, it's Adams, but
close
enough.
Close enough.
Adams and Mallet.
You should steal both signs.
No, I'd just rather get a photo under it.
If anyone wants to help the show, we're requesting. We're not telling you to do so.
We would never do that.
We'd never tell you to do anything illegal. But we're saying if you'd like to do something for Adam for his birthday, say, which is until another 9 months or so from now.
But hey, never too early to start.
But or an early Christmas gift of some sort. He would like a sign, a street sign with either his first or last name on it. And if anyone out there knows where we can get this. Do you know a Kalisha Ika?
No.
Well, she says hello. She's watching the show.
No, cool.
Kalisha, can you, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, can you pronunciate it for us? maybe spell it out the way it sounds, because I'm a very I'm not very good with the language, if you will.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
But Mallet. Alex Wallace said you do it for $50. There you go. See, like I said, we're not encouraging anyone to do anything illegal.
No.
I would say any sign that's safety purposes, like a stop sign or a yield sign or a do not enter sign or a wrong way sign, like on a highway, I would advise anyone from ever stealing that, regardless of how badly they want it. A street sign could actually be dangerous, because if there's a house fire or someone's having a heart attack and EMTs are looking for a street sign.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
But
We like to think they know the roads
but
already.
now
by
we
then.
get GPS, so the GPS is saying taking it right down here.
Unless you got some rookie, like he's not going to even rely on that.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to know. But still, I get it. You know.
But I had a buddy who, before he died, worked for the city in the sign department, and that's his only job, was to replace signs around the city and make them.
So it's kind of depressing.
Hey,
Didn't they say prisoners do that at one time? Make them?
They paid $40 an hour. It's like a city job.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I believe. That's right.
Fucking
Yeah.
drive around in a pickup truck 4.5 days a week,
Yeah.
changing signs for the city.
Oh, I'm thinking license plates. Not anymore, but I think at one time.
No, they still
prisoners-
do.
They do?
Yes. I remember when I got my vanity plate, was asking the registry, I'm like, oh, when do you think it's going to be? And she looked it up, and she's like, well, the MCI, which is the Massachusetts Correctional Institution, that's what it stands for, usually ships them out on Fridays. So I'm like, oh, no, they still get me in the prison? She's like, yeah. And then some states, like Florida, I just found this out with my grandmother, every 10 years, they make you get a new license plate with a new license plate number. So unless you, for example, have a vanity plate or a specialty plate, every 10 years, they make you get a new license plate with a new license plate number.
All right.
Which, I don't think that's a big of a deal, because when I had a regular plate, I only had a regular plate for a year and a half.
No, my uncle's had the same plate forever. That's a vanity plate.
It's different. Well, vanity's different.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And in Massachusetts, you can keep the same plate forever, too.
Yeah.
But Florida's different.
Oh,
Florida,
Florida.
Florida, they make you replace your plate. And the reason is, and I figured it out, was because it keeps the prisoners busy. So if you have, how many cars you have on the road? 1 million cars, you think, in Florida, say, right? And every 10 years, you need to replace, the license plates. That's 100,000 plates a year you have to produce. And you have all these prisoners. That gives them a lot of work to do.
That does.
You know what I mean? And I think it's a matter of just putting it into a little like this thing to print them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you kind of stamp them. But gosh, you hear what it sounds like?
I probably don't even want to know.
You know what it sounds like when you're driving on like a CB radio and you get the sound. I don't know if it's just me, because the headphones are very sensitive, but
Speaking of Florida, though, I noticed that they really have their priorities straight, because they just approved to have build the biggest mall in the world.
did they really?
In the United States, yeah. It just got approved of $4 billion. And, they say malls are going to drop off, I think, by
Malls
20...
are already dropping. They haven't.
They're actually not. No. Statistics say they haven't, but they predict that they'll drop about 25% by 2020.
Statistics says they haven't built a brand new mall in the United States since 2007. Do you know that?
No, the statistics I saw said they were actually up 10%.
An indoor mall or an outdoor mall? Or
I don't know
malls
what
in
class.
general?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Because
It
we're
just said
talking
mall.
indoor malls. They haven't built an indoor mall in the United States since 2008, and it still
I
hasn't.
believe that,
And the
but-
the last mall that has been that started construction for an indoor mall was Zugli, which is built next to the Giants football stadium in New Jersey. Still hasn't opened yet.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about 8 to 10 years of construction. And the reason it hasn't opened is because they filed bankruptcy during the recession.
Yeah.
And they're now changing the mall, so it's not just an indoor mall. It's more of an entertainment center, if you will.
Well, Florida just approved one.
It's
the
probably
biggest
not,
one in the country.
So it's probably not going to be an indoor mall, or it's going to be a partial indoor also.
Yeah.
Because
it's gonna have water. I saw the sketches, water parks and everything.
well, that's different. It's going to be an entertainment center that has shops. That's basically what it is. Even though technically it's a mall.
It's gonna be a Minneapolis one. That's
Well,
what it's gonna
yeah.
be.
Me and Sue are going to Minneapolis in October for the Saints Vikings game. Right, we're staying actually across the street from the Mall of America. I had been to the Mall of America before, and it is nothing but an entertainment center. Basically, what it is, it's 4 stories. It's built on the old football stadium that used to be there back in the day, right? And it's just 4 giant stories that goes around in circles.
Yeah.
And each wing of a mall is probably the length of, like, say, the Square One Mall, which is pretty decently long, right? So
That is pretty good.
And you just figure that 4 times 4, and in the middle there's a giant amusement park.
Yeah.
People go to that mall not to shop. I think very little people go there to shop. It's more of a excuse me. How do you call it? Like a tourist place. The biggest mall in North America right now is actually in Edmonton, Canada.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, I remember you telling me
It's
that.
slightly bigger than the Mall of America. I've been to the biggest mall in America, which is Mall of America, obviously second biggest in North America. I also been to the second largest mall in North America, third largest altogether, the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. It actually was two malls that they made into one giant mall. They built a giant bridge connecting the two and stuff like
Does
this.
Prussia really have a king?
Yeah. Hell, hey, Adam, how's the Prussian king? But well, that'll be interesting. Where in Florida are they considering building this thing?
I think it's Dade.
Dade County.
Yeah, it's in Dade County.
Dade County is where Miami and Fort Lauderdale is in southeast Florida. So
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it.
okay.
Actually.
Well, one of the top 5 biggest malls in the country is already down in that area. So I wonder if there's an extension to it. Maybe they're adding an addition to that to make it the largest mall in America. Now it only counts by square footage. It's not about a matter of stores or anything like that. The way they calculate it is about the amount of square footage it takes up. So if you have a bunch of stores that are gigantic, you know what I mean? You may have less stores than other malls, but it goes by your square footage at the end of the day. So that's probably what they're going for. If the amusement parks and stuff like that, the water park and whatnot, they're trying to make it a destination center. You know what I mean?
6.2 million square foot mall.
Okay. I don't know off the top of my head how big the Mall of America is, but I'm guessing it's
It says it's going to be the biggest in the United States, yeah.
So it's going to be at least so the Mall of America is going to at least be 5 million square feet. I would think if that's to beat that, right? It's a lot of square feet.
It is. Yeah, residents other mall owners raise concerns about traffic, environmental impact, and possible subsides. Gee, you think? I mean,
Well, yeah, and then also in addition to that, you're gonna have issues of like trying to lease those spots out. You know what I mean? Like, well, what are you gonna do if we have half an empty mall? You know?
yeah.
I mean, that's the problem right now. That's why all these malls are having issues. If you go to malls, people love the mall. The idea of the mall was great. And it's funny because in the 50s, the mini mall was the thing to do, right? The outdoor shops. And then everyone's like, no, we want to be inside because of weathers and conditions. And now
It's changing.
the new thing is back to the old strip mall kind of thing. You know what I
Everything
mean?
works in a cycle, pretty much.
It does. And the indoor mall, I mean, I was fascinated with malls as a child. I've probably been to over 100 malls in this country. When I was going on my road trips, I used to stop at malls to check them out.
Yeah.
Because I was fascinated with dead malls,
Dead
live
malls,
malls.
that's what I was going
I
into,
love
yeah.
dead
You
malls.
love dead malls, I
Oh,
know you
dude.
do.
Remember, I think I texted you. I was living in D.C. One of the deadest malls in the country is in, I think it's in Alexandria, Virginia, right when you get over the border from D.C. So I went there one day. It was 4 levels of complete abandonedness.
Yes.
It was spooky as hell.
Yes.
And there was just rub and tug shops in there. That was about it, you know? But, so that they're going to start construction on that. That should be open by the time we're 50, probably.
Yeah.
By the time they get all that legislation through and all that stuff. But, speaking of, so the biggest mall in the country is in Canada. Canada just passed a unique law today, didn't they?
Yes, we were just talking about that. Canada now is the second country next to Uruguay to completely legalize marijuana.
Really? And Uruguay is very... I knew a guy who was from Uruguay, actually. It's the southernmost point of South America. It's very cold down there, in fact, because it's so close to Antarctica, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Half the country has weather similar to Canada.
Yeah.
Like northern Canada, and it's very mountainous there. And he went back there, and it's very third world. He was telling me about these places down there. They have like these, like picture like motels, right? I'm not going to name who this person is because this story gets a little provocative. So they have these motels, and you pretty much show up and you walk in, right? And then there's doors for these motel rooms, and if they're open, and the girls for you to hire. The prostitutes.
Oh.
So you can like walk up and down the hallway and you peek in and you see what girl's there, and if you see one you like, you go in there. And he says for a half hour of sex, it's about $30 American. And they provide you with condoms.
Yeah.
And they have this certification on the wall that they've been recently HIV test. So they're pretty well, the government takes a nice percentage of it too. So
Yeah.
So in Uruguay you could smoke pot legally and have sex with prostitutes. In Canada, you can do half that.
Yeah.
When's this go into effect in Canada?
Yeah, I didn't get that far. I didn't read that far. I just noticed it. I was like, wow, it's interesting.
I wonder if
Published 9 hours ago.
because I know that in certain cities in Canada, like Vancouver, it's kind of like frowned upon, but it's not illegal kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how things in Seattle and Denver are.
I love how here we have to pass these little things, and it's fine in the states, in certain
Yeah.
states, but it's still a federal crime.
It's a federal crime. Yeah, I believe that's just the way it is because of trafficking reasons or something like that. Because no one, and I'm sure like tobacco was like this. I'm sure alcohol was like this over the time. There's no one really knows how to handle the situation. You know what I mean? So in a sense, it's kind of like it's a free for all at this point, right? You know, it's like it's kind of weird when you think about it, right? But
well, with Canada, it's like one full swoop. Like the whole country now is legal, which you know what that means. People are going to start growing it there, and it's going to find its way into the states where it's still illegal.
Yeah, and
right? I was just thinking of that.
Well, all it's going to do is force the United States to make it legal.
Exactly.
That's the only thing it's going to do. And because what's the laws in the United States? If I want to go grow my own tobacco, can I?
That's a good question.
So if I want to go out and grow my own tobacco and pick my own tobacco, am I allowed to do that? I think you can.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some stupid law that like the tobacco industry has a stronghold on and you're not allowed
to. It's like you're not allowed to make your own alcohol. Kind of thing, right?
Probably. I don't know. I'm just assuming because they have such a stronghold on the whole situation. Weed doesn't have that.
If I wanted to go in my kitchen right now and make my own vodka, it's technically illegal to make your own vodka. You can make your own beer and wine thanks to Jimmy Carter, who passed that law in '78 to allow home brewing. To make spirits, you need a special license. To make your own spirits.
That's boring.
And I mean, here's the thing: I can make probably a gallon of vodka in my kitchen for my own consumption.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Which is fine. And once you start selling as anything,
you can't do that.
So you could have a whole backyard full of weed to grow, and if you're using it for yourself, it's probably fine.
It is.
But it's like anything else. If I was like bootlegging DVDs of the Friends box series and got caught, I'd probably get arrested. I mean, that's illegal too.
Well, the weed law is interesting. You have up to, I think it's like five something like 5 plants per household, and you can give somebody up to an ounce as a gift.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So you know what I would do, Arty? You know what I'd probably do? Here, I'm selling you this water bottle. Yeah. It'll be $100, and you get a free gift of an ounce of marijuana.
That's right.
That's what he's going to have.
It's not a bad gift, you know? It's probably what they're going to do. It's like you could sell, like, you're giving a car to a family member, but you're not allowed to give it as a gift.
Yeah.
Because they have to write it off the taxes.
You have to pay $1.
So you sell it to them for $1.
Yeah.
So they pay the taxes on $1.
Yeah.
You know? Stupid laws like that.
Shit.
It's like, everyone's doing it. Why don't you just get rid of this fucking stupid law?
I know, it's dumb.
Like, why are you dicking me around?
It's like jaywalking.
Yeah. You know. Which fucking brings us to the next subject. The United States government. And I don't tweet at people. But today I tweeted at, what the hell is his name? Who's the idiot that plays for the Houston Rockets that broke his knee? Chris Paul.
Yeah.
A douchebag. He, posted, first of all... So he posted a picture of so the whole incident going down with the illegal immigrants coming over and being separated and all that. Here's the thing. I'm sorry. If you're a kid or an adult, you're breaking the law. It's illegal. You're doing something illegal. You have to be separated because it's a DSS situation. Mm-hmm. You're bringing a kid over the border, okay? Mm-hmm. You're committing a crime while you're doing so. The Department of Social Services has to remove that child from the criminal.
Yes.
And puts it aside. If I was to rob a bank with my son, or any kid for that matter, and I got arrested with my kid, the government would take the kid away from me, would they not?
They would.
Because I have committed a crime.
You have.
And when you enter this country illegally, by jumping a border or swimming across, kid or not, you are committing a crime.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is showing pictures of it saying things have to change. So I should shut the fuck up and play basketball. I go, entertain me, person.
I hate when any athlete tries to get involved in politics.
I hate when any famous person does.
No, just shut up and do what you usually do.
Shut up and do your job.
Yeah.
Right? You play football? Good. I don't give a shit about your political stance, okay? You make movies?
Yeah.
Congratulations. You entertain me. You make me smile.
Yeah.
I'd stick it to that. I don't really care about what you want to do with your life. You know
a lot of them are delusional. Although there are a few that I would just love to see try just to laugh at them. Like, could you imagine if just Kim Kardashian trying to make a political statement about something?
She has. She's trying to get fucking people out of prison. What's this big titty bimbo whose claim to fame is giving Brandy's brother a blowjob?
Oh, it was more than that.
Well, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. And what is this? What is her credibility?
Her mother edited that.
She has no college education, right? She's about as dumb as a fucking pile of rocks.
Yeah.
It's how what have you done? Oh, I run a store. Anyone can have a store. How many stupid football players own McDonald's franchises? Hundreds of them. Just because you own it doesn't mean you're managing it. And you know what I mean? You're doing shit. You're not doing anything. You have your fucking name on it.
You know what the problem is? She's left her mark on America so bad that I think she's responsible for the word literally going around so much.
Yeah.
And we all say it.
And people aren't even literally using it for the proper way it's supposed to be used. And I speak poor English as it is. And for me to call someone else for not speaking language correctly, they're as guilty as me.
I hear it everywhere now. I do it too. I'm just as guilty, but I hear it now even more because I think about it and it drives me insane.
How is that show still on the fucking air?
I don't know.
It blows my mind. Who the fuck? I'll tune it in just to hate. It's hate watching. I think, honest to God, I remember hearing the statistic years ago about Howard Stern, and he goes, the average Howard Stern listener listens to 45 minutes every morning, and then he goes, okay, well, how long does the average Howard Stern hater listen to it for? 2 hours. So someone who hates the show listens to it for double the amount of time as someone who likes the show, and the answer was exactly the same. They wanted to see what he was going to say next.
Have you happened to catch him on Netflix with Letterman?
I have not. No,
Letterman has a show on Netflix. Excuse my next guest.
Okay.
And he's had like 5 on. It's like one every other month or so. He has a new guest. You can watch every episode. And the latest one was Howard Stern.
Okay.
And I guess Howard Stern used to hate him. They used to hate each other, I guess.
Oh, they had a big beef because it was the NBC when they were both at CBS or NBC. No, when they were both at NBC. Yeah. There was a thing going on then because there was a thing where Letterman was on CBS and he was on NBC and he ended up on CBS, and then there was a beef that Howard Stern had with Imus.
Oh God,
and
yeah.
Imus and,
I've seen Private Parts.
Yeah, and David Letterman, I think were they friendly or there was some kind of situation going on. But
I caught part of it. I watched the whole thing, but I remember if you watch it, he's basically Stern says he was jealous of him. He's like, I was actually jealous of you,
which I believe, yeah.
You know,
but this thing with the government, and you said, Powers made a point. Eric Danger Powers, friend of the show, says that it was something. We're getting mad at something that's already happened before. Now you said it's different though.
It's slightly different.
So what's the difference between what was happening with the Obama administration and what's happening with the Trump administration?
For the Obama administration, it was prioritized so that the people who were already flagged or people who could be a hazard.
Okay.
Those are the ones that were held, and their children were held too.
Okay.
This one that Trump in place or was starting to enforce in May calls for everybody. Anybody crossing the border illegally. So naturally, automatically, if they're not singling out anybody and it's everybody,
yes,
that means more children are obviously going to get pulled. So it just looks even worse.
But look how bad that looks, because now you're saying he's not focusing on anyone. He's
everybody.
Blaming everyone.
Yeah.
So if a Democrat said that, there would be like equal rights for everyone. But if a Republican does that, it's a criminal act. Now, wouldn't you say Obama was more discriminative because you were picking out selected people?
But those people were. You could argue too that those people. You could argue it's worse though, because if you have to inspect everybody, maybe it makes it easier for the bad ones to slip through. You know what I mean?
But if they have to inspect everyone, like the airport, say, how many people you see jumping over the security line at the airport?
True. But is it really worth tying up all those resources for everybody? When
yes, I agree.
Do we really, you know what I mean? Like, we can't really tie up all that money. You know what I mean? That's why I think it was retracted today.
Yeah.
Because they realized the amount of freaking effort it's really going to have to go into screening everybody.
Put it this way, it's retracted. They're still doing it.
Yeah,
regardless of what they say. And here's the thing. You want to have safer borders and stuff like this. You want to prevent people coming in. Remember, the 9/11 terrorists came through Canada. They flew in from Canada into Boston.
There's nobody on that border.
So, and no one's blocking that border, right? And we just let, 19 criminals come over, okay? And who, first of all, came over from Saudi Arabia, wherever the hell they were coming from. Yeah. And were here during the Clinton administration the entire time learning how to fly a plane. And then the only reason that fucking fourth plane didn't hit any other building and it came down because there was only 4 guys on it. And it was because the fifth one got in trouble by the FBI because he said, and I quote, "Teach me how to fly the plane. I don't care about landing and taking off." Red flag. So the guy who's the instructor down in Florida called the FBI. Sure enough, this guy was on a watch list.
Yeah.
That the Clinton administration just went away. And unfortunately, it was 9 months into the Bush administration this all happened. Yeah. It wasn't his fault. All these people they were training for years ahead of that stuff.
But the thing is, everybody that even if I hate when these news reports are like, oh, they were on a watch list. Well, yeah. Okay, because that's fine. It doesn't matter. Of course, they were on a watch list. You can't freaking watch everybody.
You can't
stop
That's
everybody.
True.
And I was hearing once how someone once told me how what the police do sometimes with some of these groups for the government, they'll try to entice you to commit the crime. You're like undercover, but you're a friend. Like, hey, we're going to do that. And then maybe sometimes they're not able to actually stop them.
True.
Because they they
Well,
just
they
work,
do,
you
and
know?
then the reason for that is because you can accuse someone of doing. Someone had the intent to do something.
Yeah.
And I think I could be like, I'm watching you. I think you're gonna rob a bank.
Yeah.
All I have is I need to come up with enough circumstantial evidence for you to prove that you were planning on robbing this bank to prosecute you, right? And what do you maybe get, a year community service or something like that? You know what I mean? Now, if you physically rob the bank, that can throw you in the air for 20 years. You know what I mean?
But imagine if you entice me and then I do it, but you're not able to stop me in time. That would suck. That's what might
True.
happen.
That's a risk you got to take. I mean, look at the mafia and organized crime. How many FBI agents they have as undercover people in there? But there are crimes being committed with these undercover people there. But it's a pick and your evil. Do I pick the crime that it's knocking off a Star Market, or do I pick the crime to stop him before he's about to kill someone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What am I gonna be? Because if I get him off the Star Market, then it's pennies. It's a couple of years in prison. If I want to put this guy away for the rest of his life, I got to catch him or prevent a huge crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's just a double standard. And what's happening right now, and I love it, is because back in the day, I was talking to this older guy, right? And he goes to me, he goes, back in the day, Democrats were for the working guy, for the working man, right? They were for the middle class. The Republicans were for the rich.
Yeah.
And it has become such a weird turn that there's no middle class anymore.
Nope.
So what's left are Republicans, but there's poor people and there's rich people, and those are what the Democrats go for, because the Democrats take advantage of the immigrants and the foreigners and stuff like this, and
They just kiss the ass of the poor for votes.
They kiss the ass of the yes, exactly, and we'll promise you the world, and they never ever. I mean,
and they're like, we're going to raise minimum wage, but I understand minimum wage occasionally has to rise, but the way they go about it, where's my bump? Because if they're going to get a bump, I should get a bump too.
Well,
what
they don't tell you
is catching up to my salary.
We're going to raise minimum wage, but the cost of living is also going up. They don't tell you that much.
Yeah.
So it's not really a raise in minimum wage. The Massachusetts minimum wage is $11 an hour.
Yeah.
$11 an hour. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little history lesson right here. When I first started working, minimum wage was $6.25. Right, and this is 15 years ago. What am I, 35? 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago it was $6.25. Now I was making $6.50. I was making 25 cents more an hour minimum wage. Right. Now I'm 16 years old. It's still money being made. Right. When I first got out of college, with my first job after a 4-year. For 6 years in college, right? My first job, I was only making $11.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was, 10 years ago, right? So now the minimum wage is $11, which it is, what I was making when I was out of, college was a couple of, $3 or $4 more than minimum wage. When you justify that right now, the way inflation is, $11 an hour is a lot, but how do you, Sue and I was looking at a stat. To live in Boston, you have to make $42 an hour to be able to afford living in downtown Boston, right? It was $42 an hour? $48 an hour.
I believe
to
that.
live where we live over here in Revere, what was it, like $27 an hour, something like that, $28 an hour?
28 minimum.
So 28 minimum was around $60,000 a year. So to live in the burbs, you have to make $60,000 a year. To live in the city, you have to make $100,000 a year.
That's crazy.
How does that even justify?
Yeah.
And then another thing that fucking pissed me off too. This has really got me going too, and I'm not voting for this asshole. And I'm going to tell you this right now. He's not getting my vote, regardless of his political affiliation. Is the governor of this state, Charlie Baker, who's a Republican. No, Tommy, he can't use the microphone as a chew toy. Who said, "Oh, I'm not sending National Guards down because I don't want to, because I don't believe what the president's doing for backup." Right? Okay, here's two stands right here. He could have just shut his mouth and not done it.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't agree, he should be sending Massachusetts National Guards down to the borders of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, because, frankly, they should have their own National Guards patrolling that border. Because if something happens in Massachusetts, we need some National Guards here, right?
I see. Yeah.
So I agree with him on that aspect. I don't agree with him while he's not sending them down. And to me, he should have just not have said anything at all. Because now what you're doing as a Republican, you're going against a Republican president who's in your own affiliation. Now you're just causing issues. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So when you go up for re-election next year, he's not going to have your back.
Nope.
In fact, he's going to try to get some other Republican to fucking take you down in the primary. So, you got to watch out. I don't know. I honestly think Trump's going to get elected again, because I don't think there's one person that could beat him next time around. Not one person.
I hope there is. I don't want that asshole in the office still.
How is it so bad? It's been a year and a half.
Oh, he sucks. You can't say he's good. He sucks, man.
How?
I don't know what's going to be better.
Is your paycheck bigger? Sure has. You
No, that doesn't kick in until next year.
It kicked in January 1st.
Nothing happened.
So you should take a look at your pay stub from January 1st last year and January 1st the year before. It went up about, I think it went up 15 cents
He's
an hour.
dangerous. I'm
How
not
is he
saying
dangerous?
How is he dangerous? Because
He just made peace with the most dangerous country in the world.
You think he made peace? Nothing's happened yet. They just talked. Has anything happened? No.
Exactly. Nothing's happened.
Nothing's happened yet.
Nothing's happened.
I'm not saying he's the worst
Nothing is
president ever.
happening.
The worst George W. Bush is still way worse than him.
I disagree with that as well.
George W. Bush sent a bunch of people to war who died for nothing.
They didn't die for nothing. What
He created a war of we should have been.
No. George didn't.
George W. Bush was horrible,
He
man.
didn't create the war. Bill Clinton created the war.
Oh, here we go. No.
How do you not agree that all the shit that went down in 9/11 did not happen during the Clinton administration?
So, but
You're telling me in 9 months they organized 9/11?
You're telling me Iraq. You could talk to my best friend who would probably pummel you right now, who's in Iraq.
Okay, that has nothing to do with it. I have plenty of friends. First of all, I have plenty of friends who served in this country.
Iraq was George W. Bush creating a war over freaking oil.
No,
all right?
that was George. That
wasn't Clinton.
Dude, that goes way back to before Reagan was even president. That goes back into the 70s.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Remember the terror trains? I remember what's his name? Who's the black guy with the glasses? Oh my God! Remember we have these terror trains here where they're carrying nuclear weapons that didn't even exist. There was intel that was bullshit that was used to get America into war because war's a business.
Dude, we went into war because they blew down 2 fucking towers.
No, they didn't. That was their freaking side. That wasn't the Iraq people. What country do you think they were?
It was they were from Saudi Arabia, but it was the fucking
We should have been in
Taliban.
Afghanistan. Exactly.
We were in Afghanistan. We blew up. We sent a missile to Afghanistan 2 days after 9/11.
We were more focused on Iraq. Iraq was just a diversion to get us away from the. Eventually,
Iraq
we
was
got
the
back
one who
there.
was funding Afghanistan.
We should have been in Afghanistan. It was.
We were in Afghanistan.
Barely.
We're
The
still
attention was in
Afghanistan.
Iraq. The attention was in Iraq.
We took back Afghanistan from the fucking Taliban.
that's
The
not how it
Taliban does not exist anymore.
Yes, it doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, we had no business.
And
being
now
in
who
Iraq.
exists? ISIS. Where's ISIS?
So
Saudi Arabia.
ISIS is dead, pretty much.
No.
They're barely in existence.
But, okay.
They're clinging to life.
But they were in Saudi
I'm
Arabia.
talking about George W. Bush right now.
Yes.
George W. Bush.
All he did
a
was
complete-
clean up Clinton's mess.
Clinton wasn't that good either. But George
Clinton
W.
was
Bush was
terrible
horrible.
president. Clinton was by far the worst president this ever.
Clinton benefited from the economy going in a way that was working at the time.
That's all he did.
Right.
But in the meantime, he let fucking people come into this country undocumented.
Yeah.
That caused all the fucking terrorism that we had during the fucking after he left.
No, I agree.
So
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
maybe I agree with you that maybe the way that we went into war was maybe the wrong way to doing it, and maybe there was other ways to doing it, and maybe we should attack certain places. I agree with you on that matter. But the fact of the matter is, the reason we had that situation in the first place was because of the first 8 years prior to that. That caused nothing but turmoil in this country. Now, everyone was all high and mighty during the fucking 90s. Oh, you know, taxes are low, the economy's booming.
But you end up paying for it later.
Yeah, and then we end up paying for it afterwards because there was no preparation. Like the 7 Ps.
Yeah.
Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah.
There was no prior preparation. There was too many blowjobs being given.
I just feel like too many people died during the Bush administration.
People die in war, man.
I know, but I feel like it didn't need to happen.
But you could
it
say
needed to happen, but I feel like I said the focus was in a region that didn't necessarily need it at the time.
But you could say the same thing about the Korean War, and you could say the same about the Vietnam War. A lot of people died for no reason.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
But what had benefited from those 2 wars? Nothing.
Nothing.
But wouldn't you say that it's a little bit safer nowadays after the Iraq War?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I think America as a whole, I think people hate us more.
See, I think our intentions to go into Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan were different than what they were for the Vietnam and Korean War. The reason we went to Vietnam and Korea was because we needed to fight Russia, but we couldn't directly fight Russia.
But the problem is we need to focus more on ourselves and policing the world.
I agree. I think we should pull all our military back. I think no military troops should be in any other country. I think they should be in our borders, lined up there, and we should say, fuck the rest of the world. If they want to blow each other up and kill each other, have a good time. We should be like Germany. That's how Germany acts.
Like, look at
Japan. They don't get involved with people. They stay in their own borders. And you never see Japan or Germany in someone else's fucking mess. You know what I mean?
Like, look at our infrastructure. It's freaking falling apart. It looks nasty. The bridges look gross.
It's terrible.
It's horrible. And it's like,
and a lot has to do, the reason for that is because we have certain taxes that go for certain things. Like a gas tax is supposed to help our infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
If you look at statistically how much money of the gas tax actually goes for infrastructure, it's like 2%.
Yeah.
So that's the reason you have bridges that are built in the 1950s that are falling apart right now because there's no maintaining of them.
Yeah.
And that goes state by state. It's government money not being, because it's basically politicians get paid big giant bucks, and the money that should be going somewhere else is not going anywhere. And you remember back in the day when they started politics, they didn't get paid.
Yeah.
I think you have to go into like I don't know when the first president that actually took a paycheck was, but it's deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's still not that much compared to what.
Well, it's $500,000 a year.
I know, which is a lot, but it's not. It's not like
it's a little compared to what those people probably make outside the office.
Exactly, because I know for Trump it's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing.
But you know, Ronald Reagan never took a paycheck.
I believe it.
For 8 years, the guy never took a paycheck.
Oh, how do you feel? I love how Trump wants to start a space force. Yeah, that's the stupidest idea ever.
So the idea
that's the dumbest fucking thing.
So the idea of the space force is
it hasn't been specified actually.
No, okay, but when you listen to it, it sounds
kind of cool, but it's stupid.
It sounds weird, right?
It's stupid.
But here's the thing. And I'm saying maybe we should have a different term for it. And
yes,
maybe,
we should.
And maybe it should be part of the Air Force.
I know what they're saying. I know he's saying about like Monarch because there's weaponizing space and people could. That scares the hell out of me. By the way, nobody should be doing that.
Yeah.
But like, I understand the concept of it. But he's also mentioned having like actual troops in outer space, which it just sounds completely fucking bonkers.
I agree. I think
money needs to be going elsewhere.
Money should be. Well, I think what he's doing is, and this is the idea of it. I think behind it is because we lost the funding for NASA, so NASA doesn't exist anymore. In a sense, NASA was our space force.
Yeah,
right?
their budget's very small, but it's
and we're losing space exposition to independent contractors, like
Elon Musk and the Tesla. Yeah.
So basically, what's happened is we're having strangers go into the government can't control who's going into space. Because if
they do. NASA's still around. They work a lot with some of these.
They're more with the satellites and dealing with military stuff.
They're a fraction of what they used to be.
But if you go to Elon Musk and say, "I want to go into space," in about 5 years, you can do that. So you can have this.
Hopefully,
you can just have possession. People could just be in space. We could just, instead of going out on a Saturday night, we can all go to space for 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah, it's just horrible. Everything the way it's going is horrible. I mean, he sucks, but he's not. He hasn't done any. The media pumps him up to be worse than he is, but he still sucks.
I mean, all presidents suck.
Yeah,
it's just different levels of suck.
Exactly.
And you got to remember, presidents don't make decisions. In the history of the time, the last president probably made a decision was probably never. It's always about the senators who don't have term limits.
Oh, I know. They're puppets. Exactly. I mean, he really doesn't know. He's privy to a lot of information, but some of it he'll never know because he's a temp.
Yeah.
He's a temporary employee.
Well, that's it. And it's like you go into a job and you're only going to be there for a little bit amount of time. Say you don't really matter if you fuck up because what's going to happen is they're just going to, you're only there for a few more times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever you do is going to be affected until like 5 years later,
Yeah.
And that's the way maybe he looks at it. It's a different perspective on, on the way of doing business and whatnot. But
conspiracy.
It is conspiracy.
I was actually thinking of conspiracy. I thought about it would be a good idea to invent one and try to
see how far it goes.
Yeah,
it's just like what I do on a regular basis. I make lies up and I see how far they go. Like there's this guy that comes to the bar all the time.
Yeah,
and he's an old police officer, retired. But I've had everyone at the bar convinced that he does porn movies. That he's an ex-porn star from the 70s.
That's not bad. See,
and everyone believes it. To the fact that he's on board with it now, that people ask him sometimes about it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I used to do it, for a decade of my life."
I'm thinking about like a huge diabolical one. That's kind of a localized one. Yeah. So I came up with one that I think I want to try to roll with because it's not really been tackled that much. So how about the Titanic never happened?
Ooh, that's a good one. Nice conspiracy theory.
It never happened.
Never actually got built. Never happened.
Or maybe it got built. It just never sank.
Okay, it's still out there. Maybe.
I don't know. Or maybe no, it's better that it never happened because remember, other people really did die, right? So you could just say conspiracy never happened.
And I would say that's a little crazy, but there are people out there who claim the Holocaust never happened, and there were millions of people that died.
You know,
those people are crazy, but.
No, they're not. It's not as crazy. Actually, my best friend, his grandfather was big in World War. It was in World War II, and he died saying the Holocaust never happened or was exaggerated. And I believe that for political reasons because it helped with Jerusalem, Jerusalem and stuff.
Was he Jewish?
No.
Okay.
But it happened. But I'm just saying on the scale it happened and it wasn't because of the actual. His argument was it wasn't because of the actual conditions it wasn't because they were mistreated. These prisoners they died like this. It was because you couldn't feed all of them. Why would you kill people who are helping your war effort? Yeah. Like these are prisoners, so they're making their stuff. They're doing all this. You're going to want to try to keep them going. You're not going to want them to die, but they're going to die because you can't possibly feed them.
Well, they got their suicide. That's interesting. Yeah, my grandmother survived the Holocaust. She was telling some wild stories. Last time we were in Florida last week.
I'm sure.
Last week. she was, her perspective was they actually her father actually kept Jewish people in the attic of the shop he owned.
Yeah.
And he says they were good workers and they deserved to be protected. So he would let them sleep in the attic and they would work and they helped protect them as much as he could. And
They shouldn't have let Schindler go.
so my grandmother tells a funny story. This is actually hilarious. So when she was in Germany, they were going door to door at all these houses, right? Looking for, it was United States Army. They took over her city. They were stop it, dogs. They were she was in Munich, right?
Yeah.
So United States finally gets to Munich. They're trying to take it back over. So the United States is going door to door, looking in people's houses, looking for Germans and looking for Jewish people they can, rescue, whatever like that. Now, back in war times, a lot of times during a hot zone, which was very, a place that was dangerous, they would send African American soldiers in first because that's just the way it was sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she all of a sudden gets a knock on the door, and these two American GIs walk in who are black, and they come in. And they go, is anyone German here? Are there any Nazis here? Are there any Jewish people here? What? And then, they're like, oh, no. They were just hiding because the bombs are going off and all this stuff. Yeah. So my grandmother turns to my great-grandfather and goes, are all Americans black? Because she had no idea that. Because the only soldiers she'd ever seen were black U.S. soldiers.
Oh.
So she just assumed everyone in America was black.
Oh, my God.
Because she was 7 years old. She had never left. And as a kid, you just don't know any better if that's all you're seeing, right?
Yeah.
So the entire time she thought she apparently thought the United States was Africa. She got confused for a little while. So
You know what kind of people deserve to die? Those fucks who try to profit off something who weren't even there. Like, oh, I was part of the Holocaust, or I had a relative who died in 9/11, but they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
Oh, those people piss me off. Like, you are trying to capitalize off of, you are a bottom-feeding asshole. And there was this guy, I wish I could remember his name. He wrote a book, and he was supposedly a Holocaust survivor, and he wrote about how he was hiding from the Nazis and everything like that. And he talked about, barcodes being on his arm. And during a press thing, they're like, let me see your barcode. And he's like, I don't have one.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
Yeah,
right?
People anyone who capitalize off of something like that is a terrible human being for that matter, right there. I mean, there's a special place in hell for people like that. It's like the people who fake they have cancer and they start those GoFundMes and stuff like this, and how do you I don't know, how do you go through
there's
life?
a limit. There's a limit of dirtbagness that I think
I would feel bad. I lie all the time and tell stories to see how much I could push it, but I don't I have a benefit out of it financially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If people started go into the fact they started buying me stuff and all that, I'd feel I feel like shit,
Wait, would it be shit or be like crap? Eventually this is going to catch up to me.
No, I think
what's it gonna be?
Well, I know it would eventually catch up, but I would feel guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I would too.
It's I don't accepting shit because of a certain situation. You know what I mean? But it's now they're giving it to you and you made up the situation. It's one thing of you had a house fight, right? And people were giving you money and stuff to buy some stuff. It's another thing about lying about a house fire.
Yeah, or dying of cancer.
Or dying of cancer and people giving you this stuff. Those people are just absolutely sick. There's something seriously wrong with them. But there's people out there that don't give a crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like those panhandlers outside in the street, right? There was this one story I heard. This guy makes about $100 a day panhandling in New York City, down in the financial district, right? It's a lot of money to make $100 a day. That's $5,200. What's it? $100 a day, 360 days. That's 360. I can't do math real quick. If he's making $100 a day,
oh man, dude,
that's $365,000 he's making, right? Or $36,000. It's $36,000 a year.
Either way, it's
either way, it's a lot of money for not doing anything.
I should just do that on my break. That'd be great. Work a real job and then on a break. It would be kind of sad though if say someone you went to school with or someone you knew saw you and they're Adam, what happened?
Well, Eric thought about doing that one day. That's the reason he didn't do it, is because he's afraid somebody who's going to see him would see him. But can you imagine? They'll be, hey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah,
I would give you money.
Or you could be an ass and just give him food instead.
I used to do that. So when I was in grad school, over off of Mass Ave, there was this guy in the summertime. You'd sit there with his dog, and I used to feel bad. He would panhandle the money, but he kind of I never knew if this guy was legit or not. He was just kind of using it as a scam, whatever. So what I used to do is once a week I'd go to 7-Eleven and pick up a can of dog food and get him a couple waters and like a snack.
Dog food?
Well, because of the dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for the dog. I thought you meant for him.
No. So
It's like, you asshole. It's
dog food, a couple waters would be like $4, right? So I gave him the $4. So at least I knew he was going to give it to the dog. You know what I mean? The poor fucking dog was sitting there like starving. He was like, you know what I mean? It was a hot summer day. But there's this guy in Revere who sometimes dresses up as a bunny, and he's very flamboyant. He's very tanned, and he just goes.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's creepy. I remember you telling me that.
So creepy. And he's like, I try to avoid eye contact whenever possible.
Is he still there?
Oh, he's there every day pretty much.
I got to see this. Try to take a picture from him.
I tried when he was dressed as an Easter bunny. Sometimes he puts a costume on. He rides around a bike. He looks like a typical like drug addict from like Florida with the long blonde hair and super tanned, like he's been outside all day. And
he's
stuff.
naked under that.
Dude, I don't know, man. I try. It's very disturbing, basically, the image that he gives me, and I feel very, very, very uncomfortable looking at him on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, what's going on? Someone's having a party outside.
We're not invited. What the hell?
No, we're never invited to anything.
No.
Because Susie yells at everyone in this building, so no one invites us anywhere.
Oh.
They're like, oh, you're married to her? Oh, sorry. There was a broad today outside, right? We have a dog park, so you can let your dogs out to run around.
Yeah.
So we have a pee and poop zone on the side of the building over there, right? So I take the two dogs at the same time, so I have them on the same leash. So Nola usually goes out, pisses real quick, then poops. Like, she doesn't waste any time. Tommy kind of diddy-dallies around and kind of finds his perfect spot to the point where the shit's falling out of his ass before he even finds his perfect spot.
Tommy.
So all of a sudden, this girl comes with her dog, takes the dog off the leash, and starts throwing a tennis ball. Now
in the poop zone?
In the poop zone. And my mentally challenged dog over here, as soon as he sees a tennis ball, all he wants to do is play.
Yeah.
So he takes off, and I'm holding him back. I'm literally holding his back as strong as I can. Like, these dogs are, like, flipping out, and, like, he was, like, literally trying to, like, go get the ball and everything. I'm like, Tommy, you gotta poop. You gotta poop. You gotta poop. Finally, I got him to poop. And then I had to, like, drag him into the house because he was trying to get the tennis ball.
Oh, Tommy.
Unbelievable. And the girl's like, oh, she's like half in the bag drinking wine. She's like, oh, well, I could put him on the leash if you want.
That sounds like a bad idea to play. I mean, to play catch in the poop zone because
You
what
don't
if you stomp through it?
Poop everywhere. And like,
It's like landmines.
we pick up our poop. Some people don't. And the grass grows pretty fast on that side. And I can only envision when the lawnmower goes over, he's picking up grass and just shooting poop out the side. It's probably like a spray of poop. So now that poop is sprayed everywhere. That's probably why the grass is so luscious over there.
I was going to say, you could probably
fertilized.
grow some great crops.
It's very
if you wanted
nice.
to.
The grass is very, very nice over there and grows very, very fast. Like, it's going to be well fertilized grass over there. But, I got poop stuck on my sandal once. I got it on my big toe.
Yeah, your halls out here, I'm surprised there's not more poop litter. I can smell it sometimes, but it's not too bad.
You can smell the poop.
You can totally smell the poop.
I got freezes on certain things. I know we're live because people are commenting, but for some reason it must be lagging the internet. I called Comcast. We're trying to get rid of cable, and we just want internet, right? So they have a plan for like $30 a month for internet, right? Mm-hmm. So I call up. I go, oh yeah, we're paying $180. I want to get rid of my boxes, get rid of my telephone. I just want to go cable because we have Netflix. We're gonna get the YouTube Red or whatever else it's called. And the guy goes to me. He's like, the best I can do is a $70 plan.
Yeah.
I go, but online it advertised for $30.
That's for new.
I go, all right. I'm like, well, I'm just going to cancel my plan, and I'm going to have someone who lives in my apartment with a different name sign up. He's like, oh, okay.
There you go.
The problem is I got to go return my fucking boxes to the cable company, be without cable and TV.
That's going to be tough for you.
And then I have to have someone go and pick up the boxes at a different time and come in and plug them all in.
Yeah.
And then may or may not need Comcast to come here to unconnect and disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah. That's going to be difficult for you because I know you're really into sports. So
yeah.
I don't know how you're going to manage that. Well, then again, you can always go to the bar. You work at a bar too.
I mean, I'll do it on a day. Me and Double Back have to coordinate where I can drop him off one day and he can pick it up the same day, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm. But it's a scam. I tell you, the cable is a scam. We have 1,500 channels. I think we watch 7.
Yeah, that's why I got rid of mine.
And out of the 7, 3 of them I can watch from an antenna. Exactly.
That's why I realize right now I still pay for basic, which is like 4, 5, 7, all the ones. And I was like, I'm paying monthly for that when I could just get a HD antenna and get rid of that too. Why the hell am I still doing that?
And let me ask you a question: when you pay for basic, is it in high def or is it standard definition?
It's in standard, and you can get an HD antenna.
Yeah, you get an HD antenna, you get better quality.
Yeah, exactly.
I have two HD antennas on the wall over here that I have hooked up to like this TV over here because when we go tailgating, you can watch in the parking lot. I had from an antenna, I had better TV quality than some fucking people had on their phones.
You can get a good one for like what, 60 maybe 50?
I got a really good one for 25.
Nice.
The only problem is it's like a flat, it's like a paper sheet. You can't have it like in a house. You have to have it at a window or something like this.
Yeah.
But when you're tailgating in a parking lot, I'll put up one of these like tripods that I have for like speakers or for like whatever, and I just duct tape it to the top so it's above all the vehicles. Beautiful signal.
Yeah.
And then I get this really, really cool. It looks like an amplifier. It's a 12-inch speaker, but it's Bluetooth. The sound's impeccable in it.
Impeccable.
So I just broadcast the sound from the TV onto the fucking Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, man. It's like better to be in your living room. If I could just bring that chair into a tailgate, I don't know what I'd do with myself. I'd be touching myself. I'm touching myself. I'm touching. There's a guy named McTouchin who used to play for the Pirates. Every time he said his name, I go, I'm touching myself.
Isn't it McCutcheon?
McCutcheon or something?
Yeah.
McCutcheon myself.
Yeah.
I'm just McCutcheon.
What happened to him?
He's Los Angeles, maybe?
Maybe.
He got traded, I think. We had baby fishies. You guys probably didn't hear about that because they're already dead. Yeah. One day we're sitting on the couch. What was it? Were you here? You weren't here, right?
No, I wasn't here, but I saw
like
on Saturday when I was here.
It was the last Wednesday, I think it was. We're sitting on the couch, minding our own business. And I look over, and I thought there was like poop floating in the fish tank. And they were swimming around. They were little fucking fish. And there was 12 of them. We took them out. We put them in a separate container. And then they lasted for about 4 days. And then one day we woke up, 2 of them were dead. And then I put them into a different container. And when we got home from work, they're all dead. So I think they were infected. They probably had a sickness to it. We weren't sure what parent of the fish, or it was a fish that maybe already died that laid the eggs. No idea. But that was the first time I've ever seen that happen. That was interesting. So you never know, you know?
It's life.
A lot of wildlife in this. We have 2 dogs, a turtle, and we had at one point 15 fish.
Yeah.
And an Arty and a Joey.
Yeah, and a Joey. Not like a kangaroo, like a real Joey.
Yeah.
We don't have a baby kangaroo.
And an Arty.
I know, but a baby kangaroo is Joey. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, an Arty is an Arty.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
What's this dog's problem?
I don't know.
What is that? Cheese?
But on that note.
A whiny dog. Anyways, yes. So I think we'll end the show there. We had some viewers today. I hope everyone got the volume this week. Last week we had some issues with volume on the Facebook stream. But we think we got that worked out this week, so we'll see. And of course, if you like this show, which I'm sure you do if you're watching right now, if you like to watch any of the first 59 episodes, just go to the Arty84show.com, and which will eventually take you to the Packy.com where you can watch and listen. If you're more of a person who just likes to listen, you should go to YouTube, or you can go to iTunes and just type in the Arty84 show. And if you like to read any of the material that me and the Mallet produce, you can go to thepacky.com, or you can go to whirlwindreport.com.
Also on Twitter.
Also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find any of those there.
That can be reached at AdamM2278 at Lycos.com.
Lycos.com. That's his new email. I haven't seen Lycos in a long time.
They're gone. They don't even exist anymore.
Remember Excite? Excite.com?
What was I last week? Well, 2 weeks Alta Vista.
Alta Vista, yeah.
Yeah.
Geocities.com. Yes, and so if you're watching on YouTube, I insist that you hit the little Packy symbol on the right-hand side on the bottom right there and subscribe so you get alerted every time we have a new episode. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to diddy bop around YouTube. Once we have a new episode, which is usually around Wednesdays, it's there for you to listen to. So enjoy that. Enjoy iTunes. Leave a comment. If you want to donate money, feel free. We like that as well. And we're going to go from there. We'll be here next week at some point. And
have we decided if it's going to be Monday or Wednesday?
We have to talk. I am free every day of the week now except for Thursdays. So.
Oh, cool.
We can have the show any day we want, pretty much. So.
Nice.
Whatever seems to work better for your schedule.
Yeah.
Whether it's Wednesdays,
Monday's fine.
Either way. Mondays work, that's fine. So, yeah, a fraction of you watch it live anyway, so it doesn't really bother you guys. It's those are the ones that bothers, Alex Wallace will find us one way or another. He always seems to do. He's an animal.
He is.
He's diabolic.
Very consistent.
Yes, he is. And thank you for being a friend. We're going to send him a T-shirt once we have him.
Thank you for being a friend. Was that Golden Girls?
Oh, yes, we're going to autograph it, too. It's an autograph T-shirt for Alex Wallace. Yeah, buddy. All right, you plugging anything? Anything you want to talk about?
No, I think you just covered everything, actually.
Look at that. Efficiency right there.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you guys next week. Toodaloo, motherfuckers!